page.
I'm going in right now.
Did you put the link up?
I'm going in right now.
Okay.
And I sent you the YouTube link.
You took away my screen though.
It's coming. Katie, I sent the. Did you get the YouTube link? Because you can see comments in there.
Oh, sweet. Did you send it to herself?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, we won't say the number.
No, please don't.
Riverside. Oh, here.
Oh, did I send you that? Oh, let me send
You
you.
got a Riverside link?
No, let me send you a different one.
YouTube does live?
Yep.
Oh, I had no idea. They do everything.
They do everything.
Yeah.
There it is. We're pulling it up. Copy. Browser. Not DuckDuckGo.
Oh, shit.
Jeez, babe.
Why would they ever say don't? So I keep.
Oh, there we are.
Shit, that's crazy. So I keep it muted, and that's okay.
Yes. Keep that one muted for sure.
I think. Are we good there?
Yep.
We turned the volume down, so we should be able to see the comments.
Yeah, we just put the link in so people will show up momentarily.
Sweet.
Okay, so we can go ahead and get started. So, normally this is a podcast with my co-host Tiffany Jenkins, and today we are actually doing a podcast with myself, my husband, and the founders of Joy Wellness, Josh and Katie. So good. Well, it doesn't matter what time it is. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever the hell you have your earbuds in and you're listening to us. This is a special episode of Take It or Leave It, also known as TIOLI. And now we do have people coming in to say good morning to us. Hello, everybody. So this woman right here that you guys are looking at, if you're watching on YouTube or if you're listening, I attribute to helping save my life. I don't know if she actually really knows how impactful she's been. And it was an odd by chance meeting that we actually met. It was a random, weird coincidence, which I don't believe in that. I believe that you meet people for a reason. So I'd like to introduce you all to the founders of Joy and Blokes. This is Katie and Josh. And Dave is in here, but I don't see him.
Hello.
So
I don't see him either.
I'm here.
He
Hanging out to the side.
He's not a camera guy.
So just so everybody knows, Dave is here as well, because this episode is going to talk all about hormones, menopause, marriage, all of the in-betweens. But welcome to the show, Josh and Katie. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank
Thanks
you
for
so
having
much,
us.
Meredith and Dave. Awesome to be here.
Good morning.
So I wanted to just start by asking, why on earth did you start doing this?
Good question. I guess I'll give you the very short version and then let Josh start, because really it started with his hormones and our marriage. The short version is I threatened him with divorce because we were very newly married and I was trying to start our family. I was very focused on having babies. And all of a sudden he had no interest in having sex with me, like zero. Like I couldn't get him, like I tried all the things, all the tricks, nothing worked. And it was really hard on me. It was hard on me personally because as a woman, as a newly married woman, I was like, wait, what, am I not attractive? Am I not good enough? Like what is wrong with me? And it was just hard on our marriage because, we didn't know how to deal with that. But ultimately it was his hormones that was messing that up. And I'll let him share that story.
Yeah, it was really kind of a end of the road kind of opportunity, and Katie threatened to divorce me many times. We went and saw marriage counselors, which was very ineffective for us at the time. And, we went through how many OBGYN appointments, and I didn't realize that my hormones were tanking. And most men don't know, and women don't know, that the man's hormones kind of align with the females. They're going through a lot of changes. Those pregnancies happen. And not only did we have 2 babies naturally, but we also had 3 miscarriages. And, so for a 5 year period of our life, we were going up and down in hormones, weight, sex, love, hate, the whole emotional roller coaster. And, I wear my emotions on my sleeve, and I went through that. And, little did I know that as all that was happening, things were changing. My sex drive was tanking. I gained close to 55 pounds. I was 55 pounds heavier than what I am now.
Wow.
In addition to that, as a former athlete, I played rugby for most of my life, and I was an athlete in college and high school, and I was in the gym all the time. I had this, appetite to work out. I had lost that. I don't even think I had been in a gym, when we were at that crossroads within probably the last 45, 60 days. So it was, I'm going to divorce you or get your shit together.
Mm.
And I finally listened, and I finally went down the pathways of seeing primary care doctors, internal med doctors. And that was my first experience as a guy who's been in healthcare for now 17 years. That was my first experience of being gaslit. My
Mm.
testosterone levels, looking back at it now, were horrible. They were the equivalent of a 70-year-old man, and an unhealthy one at that. And I was told, go home. There's nothing you need to do. Maybe lose a few pounds, but you seem good. You're a big guy. And we're going back and forth, and we're going, wow, this isn't fixing our relationship. This isn't fixing the sex drive. What is going on? And it was really confusing as a man. It was confusing in our relationship. And then finally, by coincidence, I told my brother-in-law, I told my sister, and they said, hey, go see this guy. He specializes in optimization. He's this guru about hormones, and he's really serious about this stuff. And I did. And that was the single encounter that I credit to saving our marriage, to probably preventing me from having a heart attack in my 50s or late 40s. And it was the thing that put us on this war path of optimization. And all of a sudden, everything started clicking physically. And the entrepreneur in me came out and said, God, if I've been gaslit this much, how many other people are being gaslit? And how many other people are going through the same traditional routes and getting the same type of care? And that was really what put us on this war path of starting Blokes. And then Joy came 6 months after.
Wow. I I I hate to say this out loud, but that's kind of what I do is fucking say shit out loud. I have never actually heard of a man being gaslit at a doctor's office before, so I feel like you're in good company now because I feel like all the women are getting gaslit. I didn't know it was happening to men. Honestly, because it always feels like men go in and get answers, so maybe nobody's getting answers at traditional doctors' offices. I don't know. But that's kind of like you're sharing almost my story here with that, where I was going and seeing physicians and they were basically telling me there was nothing wrong with me, and mine wouldn't even order a hormone panel.
Yeah, I will tell you, it's happening on both sides of the aisle.
Mm.
I think if there's a difference in terms of what we offer, there's a lot more knowledge and understanding of testosterone treatment for men, and that's ultimately what changed my life is getting on testosterone. And then I discovered the world of peptides and longevity and vitality and diagnostic labs in a much more intimate way. But it's happening on both sides of the aisle, and that's why we exist. I mean, if it wasn't happening, if this was being done on the front lines, Joy and Blokes probably wouldn't be growing and scaling as quickly as we are. And we say it often, and this is not necessarily a knock on the doctors, but traditional care is broken, and
Mm.
from a preventative and proactive standpoint. And the reality is, how we practice, how we focus on optimal ranges and hormones and weight and brain fog, all the symptoms that we're all going through as we age, is not how they're taught in medical school. And when you think about the insurance-based system, it really doesn't allow for a slot of preventative and proactive care. And how do you live better?
Yeah.
And talking about nutrition and lifestyle, and that's where we come into play.
That's what I wanted to also comment on. Like, I don't think it's necessarily like when we say we were gaslit, it's not like, oh, the doctors aren't trying to help or they're mean people or whatever. It's really like the education wasn't there for them. And so they
Hmm.
don't know. they don't know how to, and also insurance isn't there to support them. Like if they run a 80 panel blood test like we do, it would be thousands and thousands of dollars. So like their system isn't set up that way, and they were not taught, in hormones. Basically, they say 1 in 5 OBGYNs was ever trained in menopause care. So it's not like they don't care, they just probably don't know.
Yeah, it's funny when we talk about our experiences with doctors here in the house. Let me ask this: when you guys speak, can you get just a touch closer to the mic to speak?
Yep.
Our experience is Meredith. No one listens to her when she's at an appointment. My experience is when I'm there, it's not that they listen to me. I find every doctor's appointment they're asking me what to do, like what I want to do. It's like, I don't know. That's why I'm here. Like, well, what would you like me to do for this? I'm like, I don't know. If I knew, I wouldn't be here. And she goes in and she's asking them to do things, and they're telling her no. And I sit there, don't ask for anything. They're like, well, what do you want? It was just a very different experience.
Yeah, I agree with Katie though. I think, and what you were saying, Josh, I think the system is pretty broken. We've talked about that multiple times here on the podcast. I mean, I've had a partial hysterectomy. I had my right ovary removed, which is how I actually, well, that's not how I met Katie. I met Katie because I was going to speak at a conference that she was going to be at, and we just so happened to jump on a Zoom. And I think I was crying, which is a great way to enter a work meeting. It's usually how I like to open the door. And I was at my wit's end because I was I was scheduling this surgery. Nobody was helping me. I was crying all the time. It was a mess. And I think you actually messaged me separately and was like, would you like to talk? I was like, I'd like to dig a hole and just, dive in. And she's like, no, I think I might be able to help you. And it felt like you were the first person to really listen to me when it came to, what I was feeling and what I was going through. And that was huge for me.
Yeah. The timing of this was incredible. From the end of our son's junior year, she did nothing but cry every day.
Wow.
Literally every day. Like couldn't, and she's like, well, how come you're never sad? And like, I am, the way I said it was wrong. I said, you don't really leave space for anyone else to be sad. You're kind of taking it all up. And it was that, because as soon as, I want to say inside of a month of starting treatment, she was like, okay, I'm sad, but I understand. And it doesn't just come falling out of me. Right. And it was a game changer in every aspect. It allowed us to have conversations. So
That's how powerful hormones are, right?
Yeah.
And women need to understand what happens when their bodies are changing and while we're aging, or in your case, you had to have a surgical partial hysterectomy, but we're not really taught that either. And so I think I'm thrilled now that there's a movement, there's a menopause movement. And I've heard from some people that they're like, I'm tired of all hearing about all this, and God, am I in perimenopause at 35? Like, what the heck? Why am I thinking about this? But it's really great that there is a movement so that we can educate ourselves, and then our doctors get educated, and we demand more, and then things change. We have options. And I think that is what we try to do at Joy, is provide options, education and options, because, I know these therapies were life-changing for me, and I know that not enough women even know they exist. So,
We have a funny kind of saying at our companies that hormones save marriages. And if you are on the fritz, or you're having issues in your partnership, your marriage, the first thing you should be doing, besides seeing a marriage counselor, or maybe that should come later, is getting your hormones checked and finding a clinician that specializes in that integrative functional approach, that knows how to manage those hormones and ensure that they're not in these vast, large ranges that the general population sits in. You're in an optimal range because we get countless and countless emails and testimonials and Instagram messages of people. And this happened to us. It seems like it happened to you, where they go, "Oh my God, I didn't know what I was missing. I didn't know how much I actually love my husband still," and vice versa. So, if you're on the fritz or just in general, you should be getting your blood checked anyways. But if that is part of your like overall marriage, if you're struggling, you gotta be looking at the hormones.
Well, the thing that I found interesting was the ability to have the conversations. Even if we didn't have this therapy going on, and honestly, when we really started getting into marriage counseling, I had just started therapy as well, the HRT, and it made a difference for me in the same aspect. I wasn't as outwardly emotional, but I would shut down. I wasn't. We would not have been able to, no matter how many hours or how great our therapist was, we would not have been able to actually sit and listen to each other without this. I'm
Mm-mm.
100% convinced of that.
No, it was definitely, we needed both because you started, Katie, talking about how you had threatened divorce and you were talking about divorce, and you guys were just newly married. We've been married for 21 years, and we had the big D conversation. We had the divorce conversation multiple times. Like, we got to a point where we were talking about asset division. Like, this wasn't like a passing, thing in an argument. This was, what's going to happen with the kids? What's going to happen with the house? What's going to happen? And we were able to actually have conversations where I could have logical thoughts. I was able to think things through, think about the words I was choosing, because I was able to keep my emotions balanced, which is not something I had capability of doing prior to starting my HRT. If I was feeling it, you were going to feel it, and not in a good way.
Well, it's interesting that the therapy journey for us really started, I want to say it was 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
She looked at me and said, and you said it a second ago, she said, "Go fix yourself or this is done." And I was like, I don't think there's anything wrong with me. Turns out there was. But that's how it started. And it was an emotional thing of just go fix yourself. And it's like, that wasn't enough.
No.
We needed all components.
No. And I've talked about this endlessly because this has been, I think it's month 13 that I'm in now with I am now on, well, I started with just testosterone, which was like, you'll never take testosterone away from me now. Like, I will never live
Same.
a life without taking my and I've talked with everybody. I split my dose because I like to keep it really, really even throughout the week. So I take my little dose, I split it in two. I just started an estrogen patch because, like I had said back in February, I lost the right ovary. My right ovary. So my left ovary is not really doing the full job anymore. So one of the great things about Joy is, as you go through your therapy, they're monitoring your blood work every 3 months and they're catching those levels. So at my last appointment, my doctor was like, "Okay, you're going to have to probably look at some estrogen now because you're just not, you only have the one wonky one left." So I've just started that. I don't really know how I'm going to feel as a result of that because I've had the patch on for 3 days. But it's wonderful to know that somebody is checking all of these markers, looking at you and saying, here are your options. Here's what you can do. Let's try this, let's try that. And I just feel like a completely different person. I feel brand new. I have energy. I have a sex drive. I am able to have, conversations where I can logically connect things. It's just amazing how I feel.
It's funny when she started. I mean, 2 weeks in, we saw a difference. A month in, a huge difference. And she was talking about like how high of a dose, or what her dose was and what she would go to. And I jokingly was like, hey, how high of a dose can you get without a mustache or a beard? Let's find that number and go to that, because this little dose has been spectacular. So let's make that happen.
More.
Yeah.
We have, it's so funny because we've had a few women here and there like who do overdose. So, we send you the instructions and the dosing. And I had a friend actually here in Nashville whose husband was on TRT before her. And so he was injecting her with her new meds, and he was giving her his dose. And it was so funny because we went out and met them at some brewery for a beer. The kids were running around, and she said to me, "Oh my God, I feel like I can run through a brick wall." I look at my husband and I'm like, "Get in the bedroom right now, like twice a day. I feel so good." And I'm like, huh, that seems like a lot. I'm like, yeah, I don't know. What dose are you taking? And her husband comes over and he's
Dude.
explaining, and we're like, yeah, we're gonna need you to back that down. So it's funny that some women have none, and like when they really overdose, they actually feel pretty good, but obviously we can't keep you there that long. They're like, there is a balance with hormones. I call it like the Goldilocks effects. Like, more is not always better. You have to be in that right range for you.
Yeah.
I went and saw a cardiologist. So at 39, I had a heart cath. Just it was blood pressure issue. I had a false positive on a
Stress test.
Stress test. So I went in for a heart cath. Everything was fine. So I see a cardiologist regularly, and the one since we've moved that I went to see, he asked me what I was on, and I told him, and he goes, "Okay, I'm okay with that." And I was like, "Okay." He goes, "There's a lot of cardiologists that don't like," and this is what he said to me, that don't like testosterone because it can lead to issues or whatever. And I was like, "No," because he said a lot of. I think he thought I was just injecting myself on the side, go picking it up in a parking lot somewhere. I was
Oh.
like, "No, we're monitored every 3 months." Oh, he's like, "Oh, that's terrific," and so forth. He said something like there's a large percentage of cardiologists that don't really like it because if you do it wrong, you can end up with cardiac issues. And I was like, we're monitored. We're not overdoing the dose. I told him what my level was. He goes, "That's great." Because I think I started at 240 is where I was my initial test.
Yeah.
I tried the pill first, and I went up to 4 something, and then with the shot, I went up another 100. So I'm at 5 and change. I think is where I am at, somewhere around 5. I feel incredible. And he's like, "Yeah, some people try to get to 800, 1,000, 12." And I'm like, "No, I'm not trying to go into the gym and win any awards or anything like that. I'm not. This is good enough, right? I mean, good enough is really great." So
Well, we always say treat the symptom, not the biomarker. And your 500 could mean amazing, and somebody else's could be, yeah, I'm still feeling a little sluggish, and we tick it up a little bit. And the same thing goes for women.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a beautiful thing about getting labs and getting clinician appointments, because you can have that type of dialogue and just open communication. And I think to your cardiologist comment, I think there is an old school understanding of testosterone that is tied to abuse and anabolic steroids
Mm-hmm.
going too far. But there's now all kinds of amazing studies that have been brought out that show that it's great for cardio. It's cardio protection. It's great for prostate protection.
Mm.
Uh, and I think as long as you're doing it under clinical supervision and you're in the optimal ranges and it's not being abused, I think you can argue that it's actually really good for every man. And I think as studies continue to come out, we're going to continue to see that.
So I do have a question, because when she first told me to start it, I was like, "Nah, I don't need this," right? And I looked up the symptoms and of it, and of low testosterone, and the number one, low sex drive. And I don't think that's been an issue. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't think that was ever an issue. Muscle tone, lack of energy, tiredness, all those different things. The only symptoms that I really felt were probably in the last year or two, weight gain. I used to just think about losing weight and I could drop 5 to 10 pounds inside of 2 weeks, right? No problem without just thinking about it. That went away. I was tired all of the time. Even if I slept, I was just tired. And I'm asking the question, what are the non-traditional symptoms of it, so that anyone listening, because if I had to think of this on myself, I'd be like, no, it's not a problem. I'm still want to have sex. I still, can go work out. I know I'm older, so it's not the same as it used to be, but I wouldn't have thought I had a problem.
I'll tell you, the biggest misperception is that testosterone's only for libido and it's only for erections.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many other symptoms, and there's so many things that we're solving through optimal testosterone levels.
Brain fog for me was the first thing I noticed with testosterone. I had a
Mm-hmm.
ton of brain fog when I was after having kids and trying to recover, and that was a huge thing that it cured for me. And just general inflammation, testosterone is very anti-inflammatory. So we'll see people come in with low energy, not feeling well, and then their inflammation is also high.
Mm-hmm.
I think the biggest thing that we see for men and women is fatigue, lack of energy, and I think this is you know, if there was a silver bullet, testosterone would be the solution to that lack of energy. And some guys, in my case, uh, I had no libido, I had no sex drive, and it solved that almost within 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And then everything else started to take course. I mean, we say you're not really in your optimal range until 6 months and sometimes a year, because it takes time to dial in those hormones. But to your point on the muscle and the weight gain, I mean, a lack of testosterone typically means that you're gaining weight, visceral fat, and by getting optimized, we typically always see more lean muscle mass. So it makes sense that you're able to do that quicker and start losing some of those unwanted pounds.
I am shocked at what how well my muscles have started to, like, it's shocking to me. I
You do
work
look
out.
good. You do look good, by the way. I
I
don't know what you look like before, but wow, you look good.
I work out. And when I say I work out, I need people to understand. I've talked about this time and again because everybody's like, "Oh my God, what are you doing?" I have an app on my phone. It's called Down Dog. I do yoga. I do 30-minute HIIT classes. I'm lifting 5, 10, and 15-pound weights, and I go as high as I go is a 20-pound kettlebell. I am not in there doing massive amounts of reps. I'm not hitting the gym I have a garage gym. It stinks. It's smelly. It's gross, but it's perfect. And the amount of muscle mass that I have been able to gain, and I don't think I looked this good at 20. I mean, that sounds really shitty. I shouldn't have said that out loud. I just mean,
No, by the way, I agree with you. Like when I went, this is like, I felt good. I was 43 or 44 when I really started feeling good on these therapies. And I was like, wait a minute, I haven't been able to go to the gym and feel like I'm actually making a difference. Like I'm getting stronger. I'm feeling like more energy after I work out. Like, and yeah, when I was 20, whatever, I was probably trying to do like spin or aerobics or something, and I didn't have the muscle then either. So it does feel good.
it's just crazy. I just feel, and I just want people to know, like, I'm not doing a crazy workout. Adding the testosterone not only has I didn't have any energy before, but I am such a stubborn type A sphincter of a person that if something had to get done, I got it done. Didn't matter how tired I was. I have so much energy now. It's disgusting. And it has made all of the difference in how my day just flows and what I'm able to do and what I'm able to get done. And the fact that I am not missing workouts because I'm not tired and I'm doing that. And it's just, it's been crazy. What I look like today versus what I looked like and felt like when I started this 13 months ago, I was scrolling through my phone and I was looking at pictures and I was like, oh my gosh, like it's insane.
It's interesting. So we have a linen business,
Mm.
so tablecloths and stuff for restaurants, and I deliver them. And I keep wanting to get into the gym to work out, but just lifting those bundles all day, I'm like, I feel good. I have some
He
muscle.
sent me
I
a
have some muscle tone.
little pic while I was out of town to show me what I was missing out on, and
Ooh,
I gotta say, I was like, keep lifting those linens. I was like, hot damn. I was
I
like, all
look.
right.
You know,
I
I
didn't
was. Yeah. Go ahead.
I didn't know you did linens. I knew obviously I'm a customer of Laundry Lady. I love the laundry
love
sheets.
it.
Oh, thank you.
I don't know
Love
how
it.
many businesses you guys have, but I
I
love
think 7. I think we're at 7
7.
now. Is it?
I don't even know. I
Yeah,
lost track. I'm sure
but
there's one that's running somewhere that we don't know about. But it's just an extension of our laundromat. So we
Seriously,
lease out
though,
that.
the laundry sheet, I will not use anything else. And
oh,
like I do laundry. Um, it's so convenient. It's you. I love it. Like
oh, well,
that
thank
thing's
you.
got to explode. It's gonna.
Thank you. It is my baby. I really really appreciate that. I just I really do have a I kind of feel like, so your guys' passion with Joy and Blokes, that's like my Laundry Lady passion. Like it's just it's a great way for us to be able to make a small change in our day to make a big change and a big impact for the world, for the environment, and just on our clothing too, because I know Katie and I have talked about endocrine disruptors. And the Laundry Lady is a plant-based zero microplastics detergent. And so I think that's also a big thing that we have to be looking at is, what did you just read an article about how they did an autopsy?
I was just gonna say that I
Oh
just
yeah,
saw the headline with a teaspoon of microplastics in the brain,
yeah.
and more than 3 times that for people with dementia.
Wow.
It's insane, and you can't
Scary.
avoid it. It's everywhere. So you have to start doing it in small increments until that all adds up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I joke my day is consumed with laundry, and I don't want to say it out loud, but I don't like doing laundry. But we
I
own a
don't like it
laundromat.
either. I just like it more with your product.
Thank you.
But anyway, like I said, I mean, I feel great. I don't feel like I need to run into the gym and lift a bunch of weight just to try to feel something. I can go. When I first started, I mean, I got back up to running. I ran 6 miles a couple of times. I
Wow.
hadn't run in years. Within a couple of weeks of just running, I can get up to 4, 5, 6 miles, no problem. And then you talked about the bedroom side. I feel like I'm 16. I mean, it's a lot of fun.
It's we say that optimized hormones makes effort feel good, and
Yeah.
I forgot like
I like that.
what it felt like to be in shape.
Yeah.
I mean, I joke around all the time. Like I'll get these pop-ups on my phone, and they'll be 4 years ago, 5 years ago, and I'm like, "Geez, babe, that was fat, Josh. I'm sorry." But it's good to reflect and know what it was like, and to be able to take those strides and make effort feel good. That's the power of hormones. It's the power of
Yeah.
understanding and prioritizing your health. And to your point on the laundry stuff, it is all around us. We are getting hit in every single angle of things that are disrupting our health. I mean, it's our environment, it's our foods, it's the plastics. I mean, we have 25, 26 different Yetis, and we don't use plastic in our house, and so it's so important to just be mindful of that. And I love hearing that.
Yeah, it's been a big thing for me is to find all of the ways I can get rid of the plastics in our home. I've switched our toilet paper because I started doing research on what we're wiping with, and I've started looking into all of these other areas. And I do hope the Laundry Lady starts to really. We're getting ready this month, I hope, to launch dishwasher detergent sheets, which have zero plastics. So I hope that, she definitely gets her legs and starts to move, because I want to find every way that I can to impact how you're cleaning, and because you don't want this on your dishes, you don't want this on your bedding, you don't want this on your body. And the kids get pissy because they're like, we need plastic bags for X. And I was like, no, you don't. No, you don't. I was like, use the paper bags. I have paper bags in there. Use this, use that, use the glass Tupperware, use this, use it. I mean, because we're trying to make all of these small changes, which seem like a big pain in the ass, but once you've made them, it's your new normal. And so that's what we're trying to do around here in terms of that. And it's
I mean, the
it's
reality is
important.
the world existed before plastic.
Yeah.
And everyone made it through just fine. I really like what you said about forgetting what effort, or what you said, effort felt like, or how good effort feels.
Optimized hormones make effort feel good.
Mhm.
So I was an athlete as well, college, semi-pro, and all that kind of stuff. I've always been in shape, and my thing was, I'm tired of being in shape because it was a lot of effort. It was a lot of work. I did triathlons. It was 20 plus hours a week of training. And I'm sitting here like, I don't have time for that. Right. So the effort prevented me from what I thought the effort had to be, but it wasn't the effort. It was the hormones.
Mm-hmm.
Because the effort is really, it's not a lot. We don't have to spend 4 hours a day training, 30 minutes,
Right.
45 minutes. I mean, like I said, I just in the course of my work, I get a workout and stuff, right? So it's that, I really do like that, the effort part.
Yeah. So what I will say to the ladies that are listening out here, if you are our age, my age, or younger, or you're like me and you had to have a surgical hysterectomy, or you had what they put you into surgical menopause. The things that you need to be looking for is, do you have that brain fog that Katie was talking about? Are you fatigued? Do you have little or no sex drive? I had the inflammation in my body was insane. So I had all of these things sort of stacked against me, and I was living this way. I don't think honestly I've ever made testosterone in my life. Like, I think that I was one of those people who was very, very estrogen dominant, even from like my first period, because of the symptoms that I've had, that I talked with my physician about. And so for me, it was a true, like, the lights turned on when that testosterone hit my system, because I joked on stage last week. I was like, I'm fucking unstoppable. Now I know what it's like to feel like a man. I will kill, hunt, eat, all with my own bare hands. Like, it was this very like awakening feeling for me to be like, I can do all of these things. And it's amazing. So the reason that I talked about this, I met Katie and was able to do all of this, but my primary care, my OBGYN, my doctors refused me hormone panels over and over and over again. And even with taking my ovary, my uterus, my cervix, my parts, my pieces, they refused me hormone panels.
Did they tell you why?
They said that I wasn't at the right age.
Oh.
And I was like, first of all, and this was last year. So I was 43 when they took 38 when they took my cervix and my uterus, 43 when they took my tubes and my ovary. But I was like, what age does it matter if I don't have parts anymore? My body is not getting what it needs to get. And when I saw how little I had, point something testosterone, 0.09, like, it was,
None.
I had none.
Yeah.
And so when I tell you, I took the shot and within 2 weeks was like, I can conquer everything. It was because my body had, like, I don't think it ever saw it before. And so it was amazing for me. And so any women that are listening and you're thinking about it and your doctors are refusing these panels, if you do nothing but the lab work so that you have a baseline and you have an understanding, it's amazing the information that you get from those labs.
I think back to all the medical things that Meredith has gone through. I mean, it's I don't know how many parts she's evicted.
I don't have much left, if we're
But
being
I mean,
honest.
at the tumor at 35, right? Like that doctor comes out and he's like, I have never seen this in anyone under 70.
Wow.
Like this doesn't happen to people your age,
Well,
right?
and it's inflammation in the
That's
body.
what I was gonna say. It's all everything that's been evicted is due to inflammation, all of it. And it's like if someone had done this panel 20 years ago, maybe we could have,
Yeah.
headed
It's like, how do
some
you
of this up.
fix, instead of taking out all the parts, can you fix the inflammation?
Right,
Right.
and it was just ignored.
We could have had more babies.
Oh God.
Oh.
So there are a couple of questions in the thread that I was gonna put out here.
Sure.
The first one: can Joy Wellness help get regulated after pituitary tumor removal?
We can certainly try. I would also recommend starting with a lab and then putting you with one of our clinicians to see what we can do to help. I don't personally have any knowledge on pituitary tumors, so I don't want to give any medical advice, but
Yeah.
I think anytime we're talking tumors of any sort or any long-standing chronic condition, including autoimmune issues, it's something we handle on a case-by-case basis. Our clinicians are trained to look at things holistically, and it may not even be something that we use from a pharmacological perspective. Maybe it's diet and nutrition and getting those deep dive labs, and there's a lot of ways to approach this. And I think that's what we take pride in. It's not everybody's going to get the same solution, and that's because everybody's different, and everybody's biomarkers show something different, and everybody's history, their health history is different. But the best place to start is with a deep dive on your health.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of leads into the next question. As a melanoma cancer survivor, can I safely use Joy? So it's everything's driven by labs. It's not kind of
Correct.
like, oh, we feel this. It's, hey,
Yep.
this is what you've got, right?
and
Yeah.
health history. I mean, with any cancer, you have to get, obviously cleared, and there's a timeline of how long have you been cancer free, and there's certain therapies that we would say no, we don't want you on, and there's certain therapies that you can absolutely use. So
Mm-hmm.
You did that for Meredith, actually. They were talking about her starting one that she wanted to, and they're like, no, because you had the cancer risk. You can't use that.
Yeah.
You have to stay clear.
The only major contraindication that there's a couple that we have is active cancer. We won't treat you with active cancer.
Mm-hmm.
So everything is then a check box. How's the health? How's the labs? Where are they at in that process? And then if you're pregnant or in some instances trying to conceive, we stray away from that just for the health of the patient. It doesn't mean that there's not things we can do and approach. I mean, we have found something that we haven't talked about is we take a patient's labs, and our labs for both men and women range from 40 to 80 biomarkers. So you're getting a really in-depth look. But we've developed our own kind of proprietary approach to precision-based supplementation. So we take those labs and we can actually look at your deficiencies and prescribe exact supplementation based off of those deficiencies. And what's great is eight can come into one sachet or one pill pack that is solely based off your biomarkers. So a lot of times we have people that are just going that route.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's like, I had no idea how low my vitamin D and a couple of my B's, or I mean, and I was like, how could I possibly be low in these things? And women don't realize how low our vitamin D gets when we are in menopause or perimenopause. I mean, I live in Florida. I see the sun plenty, safely now because I don't want any more skin cancer. But I mean, like I live in Florida. I'm like, don't I get this from the sun? And the thing is our bodies are not getting that, and we need it because that also helps boost. I didn't realize how closely low vitamin D level was linked to anxiety. And so that's really important that you're looking at all of these levels. But the labs are always great to go through, and the doctors are wonderful. And you guys have just created an environment where people they feel seen and heard, and you are really making a difference in how you approach or how care is being received by people. So I just want to thank you for what you've been able to do in our lives, and I know that you're making huge impacts across, the US, because I'm getting emails from people that have signed up to be treated, and they're just overwhelmingly loving joy, wellness, and of course blokes as well.
Sorry, and ditto to everything she said. It's again, a few years ago I thought there was nothing wrong. Turns out I was wrong. Does joy help with acne and eczema?
We get that question a lot. So what I would tell you again, is a good place to start is seeing where your hormones are, because they're going to affect your skin. Um, I would say we're not experts in treating it like a dermatologist would be, but we can at least give you a really good idea of hormonally what's going on in your body. I mean, that could be
And looking at liver markers, looking at the inflammation, looking how you're,
stress.
all of that. So yeah, again,
Well, you guys, Joy picked up my thyroid issue.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
And she sent me, she's like, you got to go to an endocrinologist. And I was like, why? She's like, your thyroid is wonky. And so then when I spoke to my endocrinologist and I started on the thyroid med, he's like, this should help with your skin issues.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? And he's like, it's all tied.
It
Yeah,
is.
he actually
all
gave you
tied.
answers.
Yeah.
She'd never seen an endocrinologist, and he had answers that she'd been asking for years.
But that's because my doctor at Joy sent me there.
Mm.
So
Well,
it's all connected.
What I would tell you is we are an inch wide, a mile deep into our treatments and our therapies. But if we don't know it, we're pretty quick to say, "Hey, this is the specialist you need to go see."
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes an endocrinologist might be a little bit better or more specific about a certain area. And sometimes it's going back to your primary care and saying, "Hey, you got this autoimmune issue. You might want to look at this differently." But I think labs are the gateway to just a healthier life. And we've seen so many instances where patient, I mean, their hormones are just the most important chemical messengers in your body, and if they're off, everything else in your body is going to be off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So tell everybody where they can find you and uh, to get started.
So I'm on IG a lot, Joy at Joy Women's Wellness, and that's JOI. And then
Mm.
our website is choosejoy.co. And I'll let you.
Well,
share
the
links.
men are hanging out at Get Blokes a lot of love on the Instagram community. Lots of new innovative ideas coming out through there, and then our website is just blokes.co.
Mm.
Very simple. So we're lots of things happening there, lots of growth that you'll be
We're
seeing.
actually gonna combine or rebranding and combining the websites. That'll be out in a few weeks. So really excited about that. It'll be one
Nice.
website. So we'll share that with you.
Oh, that's
And
awesome.
I will jump in and give the stereotypical review of, if you don't want to get told no all the time, let your wife get her hormones tested. And if you want to have a lot of fun, get yours tested. And just I'm really stuck on that effort thing, because
Love it.
the effort is what shuts people down. The
Mhm.
perceived effort just shuts for everything. For
Yeah.
how many goals are crushed just thinking about the effort it's going to take.
Mhm.
And when you can, I play a lot of golf, and I laugh because I took a lesson with this guy, and he fixed one little thing and it made it feel effortless. And it's like, I've been struggling with this forever. And that one little thing, now it's not a struggle. It's just fine tuning. So effort gets in the way of progress all of the time. And if you have the right tools and the right setup, the effort's nothing. Just get it done.
Yeah.
Love it.
Love that.
Thank you guys so much for spending some time with us. And I know, Katie, at the end of the month, we're going to be back with Tiffany, and we're going to be talking more about middle age, which so fun. But thanks for coming on the podcast today, and we are indebted to you. So we truly appreciate you guys, and the work that you're doing is absolutely changing lives. So thank you for being with us.
Thank you. We appreciate you.
Love
Ditto
it,
back.
guys.
All right. Bye, guys. We'll see
Thanks,
you
guys.
next time.
Cheers.
Bye.
Okay. Did you hit the red button?
All right. The stream has ended.
Okay.